You know, Pokemon is supposed to be simple, right? You have bright colors, catching Pokemon, and then one day, hopefully, becoming the Pokemon champion. But what if I told you one of the most memorable rival battles in Pokemon Red and Blue might have ended with something a lot darker? What if you didn't just defeat your rival? What if you caused him to lose one of his Pokemon forever? What's going on, everybody? This is Chris Jones from Chris Jones Gaming Network, community manager, lordsofgaming.net, and today we're diving into one of the most talked about Pokemon theories out there. Now, you've all heard the classics Lavender Town, Cubone's mother, Missing No. Pokemon has always had these darker undertones hiding beneath the surface, but this theory, this one hits different because it involves you, the player, and your rival Blue. So, who is Blue? If you grew up with anime, you know him to be Gary Oak, the grandson of the Pokemon professor. In the original games, he's Blue, your rival from start to finish. He's cocky, he's confident, always one step ahead, and never will let you forget it. From the very beginning, he's there to push you, challenge you, and honestly, annoy you. But what if that confidence, what if that arrogance was hiding something else entirely? Let's talk about the moment when everything starts to change. I'm talking about the battle on the SS Anne. This is one of the most memorable early game fights. Blue shows up, challenges you, and his team is starting to come together. And most importantly, this is where he has Raticate, a fully evolved, strong Pokemon that at that point in the game is fast, aggressive, and a lot of players, it's actually a real problem if you're not prepared. You beat him, he walks off. Pretty normal Pokemon stuff, right? Except this is the last time you will ever see that Raticate. Because the next time you run into Blue, it's in Pokemon Tower, and his Raticate gone. Not in his party. No explanation, no dialogue, no replacement version later, just gone. And if you play these games, you know Pokemon Tower isn't just another location, it's a graveyard. A place filled with mourning trainers, ghost Pokemon, and one of the emotional tones in the entire game. So naturally, fans started to ask questions. So here's a theory. What if Raticate didn't just disappear from his team? What if Raticate died after you battled on the SSN? Think about the situation. After that fight, the SSN leaves port. There's no visible Pokemon Center on board, no PC storage system like we rely on as players. If Raticate was seriously injured during that battle, Blue may not have had any way to save it in time. And then the next place you see him is the Pokemon Graveyard. Settling that encounter feels very different. Maybe he's not just there by coincidence. Maybe he's there for another reason entirely. And when you look at the team's progression, it only adds fuel to the fire. Before SSN, he has Raticate. On SSN, Raticate evolves into Raticate. After that, it's never appears again, not even once. Meanwhile, every other core member of his team sticks around and grows stronger. Pidgeot, Alakazam, Gyarados, his starter, they all stay consistent throughout the entire game. Raticate is the only Pokemon that disappears permanently. And that's what makes this theory stick with so many people because it doesn't feel just random, it feels intentional. Now, to be fair, we've got to look at the other side as well. From a game design perspective, rival teams in Generation 1 change all the time. They rotate Pokemon, they keep battles fresh, and scale difficulty as you progress throughout the entire game. So it's entirely possible that Raticate was simply removed for balance reasons. And importantly, there's no direct confirmation. Blue never says anything about losing a Pokemon. There's no line of dialogue that confirms this theory, so officially, it's kind of just speculation. But here's the thing even without confirmation, it fits. It fits the timing, it fits the setting, and it even adds just a little bit of emotional depth that Pokemon didn't always show back then. Because suddenly, Blue's not just your cocky rival anymore. He's a character who might have experienced real loss. And if that's true, then that battle on SSN, it wasn't just another win. You weren't just going to get the HM cut. It might have been the moment where everything changed for Blue. Personally, this is one of the theories I can't really shake. Pokemon has always hinted at darker storytelling, but this one feels different because it directly involves you, the player. It makes you kind of stop and think about something that games never really address. What actually happens to Pokemon after battles? and what happens when things don't go perfectly. If this theory is even partially true, it changes how I personally see Blue entirely. Not just as my cocky, arrogant, egotistical rival that's always one step ahead, but as someone who keeps pushing forward even after losing one of his earliest partners. And honestly, that's what makes this theory so powerful. If you think about it, whether it's real, whether it's not real, it adds depth to a game that we've all played 1,000 times. It turns a simple rival battle into something a lot more meaningful. But now, I want to hear from you. Do you think Gary or Blues Raticate actually died? Or was it just a gameplay decision for balance purposes? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this kind of deep dive into Pokemon theories, make sure you to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll catch you in the next one.